I pushed open the bedroom door and stopped cold. The disguise slipped away, and there he was, the same man whose shadow had stalked my nightmares for months, even though he had no idea I existed. Yet now he lay on a bed draped in silk, peaceful, unaware that the empire he worshipped, the life he crafted, and the identity he guarded were all seconds from collapsing. It all began months earlier, the day I married him. Not for affection, not for desire, for survival. My family was shattered, drowning under debts, desperate for help. He seemed like the answer, elderly, frail, predictable. Perfect prey. I entered his world like a soft breeze, and he welcomed me as if I were a miracle. I smiled when required, brushed his arm gently, laughed at jokes that barely deserved a smirk. Each gesture was a rehearsed illusion. Every word was a baited hook wrapped in warmth. I can still recall our first meeting. He sat in a lavish lobby, cigar in hand, acting as though the air belonged to him alone. His aura screamed dominance. I walked in carrying nothing but fear and a thin thread of hope. His chuckle, laced with expensive bourbon, offered me exactly what I needed. I wanted the security he provided, not the man himself. At first, the game felt effortless. He was easy to charm, easy to convince. I studied him like a textbook, his routines, his weaknesses, the fragile pieces of his ego. Every dinner, every murmured compliment, every touch on my back became something I filed away as part of a bigger blueprint. Then the cracks appeared. A glimpse at a phone he forgot to lock. A stray comment that didn't match the script he lived by. My heart didn't race. My nerves didn't tremble. I simply observed and stored the information. Then came the message, sent with caution, received with stupidity. The betrayal lit up on the screen in stark letters. For a moment, shock fluttered in my chest. I imagined confronting him, screaming, tearing him apart with pure fury. But anger is messy. I needed precision. I needed him to collapse not just publicly, but internally, to feel it down to his soul. That was the moment I shifted roles. I stopped being his wife. I became the strategist. I planned every step with surgical accuracy. The allies I chose, the legal cracks I dug through, the secrets whispered to the right person at the perfect moment. Each move was part of a grand design. I drained his confidence, sowed suspicion, twisted truths until his world bent under its own weight. I made myself invisible. A ghost in the home he believed he commanded. Slowly, people around him changed. Friends murmured. Accountants hesitated. Lawyers stumbled over their explanations. He still thought he was invincible. He laughed with the wrong people and trusted faces he shouldn't have. Every blunder he made became another stone in the monument of his downfall. And now, standing in the bedroom doorway, I could practically taste the end. His face, stripped of its mask, showed a kind of vulnerability he didn't even know he had. The air shifted. He felt it. "You know," he whispered, his voice thin, trembling. I think someone's—" I silenced him with a single look. In that glance lived months of deception, revelations, and cold strategy. The evidence, the accounts, the truths whispered into the right ears. Everything was already in motion. His allies were gone. His empire would crack before dawn. "I know," I answered quietly. Controlled.
Calm.
Unforgiving. "I know everything." Disbelief washed over him first. Then panic. Then the slow, suffocating realization that every move he made, every mask he wore, had already been reflected, studied, and dismantled by the woman he assumed was harmless.
Me.
I turned away, leaving him in the bed he believed symbolized his power. By morning, he would understand exactly how deep my reach ran. By morning, he would witness the ruins of the world he created. The relief that settled inside me wasn't joy or victory, it was clarity. A pure, quiet release reserved for moments when justice finally arrives. My family was safe. My strength reclaimed. And the man who thought himself untouchable learned that the most dangerous enemy is the one with nothing left to lose. I walked out of the room like a shadow slipping through the last act of a tragedy. The obedient wife mask stayed on just long enough for the final domino to fall. And when he finally realized who had replaced him, his power, his authority, his illusion, he had no escape. But I did. I stood there unbroken, unmoved, and utterly victorious.